What is the book of Jeremiah? Well, Jeremiah was written around the 6th century BC by, you guessed it, Jeremiah the prophet. Now, the prophecy of Jeremiah is named as such because he was taking public accountability for whatever he was claiming to speak in the name of God. Prophets, or spokesmen of God in Israel, were held to an extremely high standard, which would result in their execution if they failed to make an accurate prediction of the future or spoke something inconsistent with the character and nature of God. Since Jeremiah passed the standard of a prophet, his words are still preserved today as scripture. If he tried to be anonymous or edit his work after the fact, he'd be found out since he had to attach his name to all of it at the time that he was writing these things. The historical background of the book is extremely fascinating. Like all other instances of divine judgment, God had given the southern kingdom of Judah centuries of chances to recognize and apologize for their violations of God's law and mingling pagan idolatrous practices alongside their worship of the true and living God. Like the Egyptians in the 10 plagues of Egypt, the Canaanites and the war of Joshua, the Assyrians with the fall of Nineveh, and their cousins to the north who were taken into exile by the Assyrians, Judah is about to be judged with the same consequences for 70 years in Babylon. Jeremiah's role would be to explain why and how this was going to happen, as well as predict when and why they would be restored back to the land. The genre of this is, of course, prophecy. This is emphasizing God's perspective, not exclusively man's. And the reason why it was recognized as such is because Jeremiah passed the standard of Moses, the first man that God used in history to reveal himself to mankind in writing, as a prophet of God. Despite being charged with treason for demoralizing Israel about the coming threat of Babylon, no one could charge him with false prophecy. He even records the judgment of false prophets who tried to contradict him by saying they would be delivered from Babylon, like God intervened with Assyria before during the reign of King Hezekiah. He got his facts straight about the past, the present, and the future. Simple as that. What also is interesting about Jeremiah is his nickname. He is known historically as the Weeping Prophet. Despite the stereotype of doom and gloom preachers predicting the judgment of God, the actual example of someone who predicts this kind of message didn't do so with a smile on his face. In communicating God's words, he also communicated God's heart as to how he felt that it had come to this and how much he didn't want it to happen. It's also for this reason that people later believed Jesus himself was Jeremiah returned from the dead. And if any of us are going to ask, what kind of legacy would we want to leave behind? Being confused with Jesus is a good one to leave. And that, of course, is the legacy, ministry, and prophecy of Jeremiah.